Hello everybody, this is Some Mask Guy Plays, and today I wanted to take a deep dive into something that has stuck with me from Majora's Mask. Now, the Legend of Zelda series is no stranger to the dark, the creepy, or the depressing, but there's some interesting atmosphere around Majora's Mask, whether that be because of things like the Bend Drowned creepypasta back in the day, or just that fact of impending doom as you hear the clock tower ding and the moon get ever closer and closer. Whatever that reason is to you, for me it's always made the game stand out as very unique, in that sense of constant dread of running out of time. Part of what makes Majora's Mask so iconic to me too is the classic tune of the Song of Healing. And while it's not my favorite tune from the Legend of Zelda series, in fact it's nowhere close to my top 10, there's something special about hearing that tune and me being refilled with just certain emotions. And to explain that, we need to go back to the beginning. So we're first introduced to the Song of Healing after we've been cursed by the Skull Kid and transformed into the Deku Scrub. After we make our way to Clock Town, we run into the Happy Mask Salesman, where he delivers his iconic line, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" The Happy Mask Salesman can tell from the start that Link is not originally a Deku and is instead cursed as one, and he offers you a deal in exchange for you getting back Majora's Mask and returning it to him. After you get your ocarina back, he promises that he'll return you to your normal self. After encountering Skull Kid, getting the ocarina back, he fulfills his end of the deal and teaches you the Song of Healing, which frees Link from basically forever being cursed as a Deku Scrub. And then, gives you the iconic Deku Mask where you can transform in and out of it at any time. Now, the Deku Mask is a little bit weird in terms of the transformation masks because it's the only one that we don't really truly have the full backstory on. We know that it's the Deku Butler's son, but we're never given the full details, unlike the other two. And this leads into what makes the Song of Healing so iconic, is I've always thought, given the situation, it's like it would be a more happy and upbeat type of song, but when you listen to it, it's sad, it's somber, it's slow, and I think it puts into an interesting perspective of, the definition of healing. And we get to see many examples of the Song of Healing being used throughout the game. Some of them I feel like are very minor, like for example, when you do the side quest of meeting Kamaro. Now, Kamaro is the guy basically that you find dancing on one of the stone tops pointing towards Snowhead, and his story is basically that he's a spirit of a dancer that's kind of frustrated that his dance would die with him and that his legacy would die with him. So you play the Song of Healing and he gives you the Kamaro's mask, which you can then teach to the Rosa sisters in order to get a heart piece. But there's also more major applications of the Song of Healing that have a huge implication to the story. And the first one that you encounter is when you run into the Goron Darmani. And when you play the Song of Healing for him, he's the one that leaves behind the Goron mask for you. And then another big application of is when you run into Mikau, the Zora, who you play it for him and he leaves the Zora mask behind for you. And in both of their stories, they share some similarities where, while having a conversation with them, you kind of realize the large amount of regret that they feel for failing their people in their own individual way. Because Darmani went to investigate Snowhead after all the snow started coming down, and the Gorons basically got to a point where they were in danger of dying out because of the constant freezing cold, and he unfortunately met his end while trying to investigate Snowhead. And then you have Mikau, who, after Lula's eggs got stolen by the pirates, he went to try and get them back, but unfortunately was injured extremely bad by the pirates. And so there's this common theme between both of those masks that we get, and that's kind of why I excluded the Deku mask as well, because it's very vague a little bit on its whereabouts. But we get those two masks basically both from people who have this deep regret for feeling like they failed their people and their objective, and it resulted in both of their deaths. And when you play the Song of Healing for them, it's kind of like a weird touching moment when they give you the Goron and Zora mask respectively, because it's pretty much like easing their pain and being able to pass the burden on to another, who Link, as part of the story, goes on to save everyone. But it gave me this idea of how interesting the Mask of Healing works as both a physical sense of healing and also like an emotional sense of healing. And I think the best example of like that more physical side of healing is when you play the Song of Healing for Pamela's dad, who got transformed into a Gibdo. And in my opinion, it's the most like heartwarming scene in this game, and I mean that says a lot. It's so heartwarming that I'm just gonna let it play so you can see exactly what I mean. But continuing on what I was saying before, the Song of Healing both has this application to more physical, like Pamela's dad, or more of like an emotional, like Darmani. And kind of like how I came to like have this whole, thought process was just, I haven't played The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask in a little while. I played it fully through last year, but I haven't played it in probably a good 6-7 months at this point. And basically what happened is one day while scrolling YouTube or Instagram or something like that, I just happened to hear the Song of Healing, and all of the memories came, flooding back from my last playthrough of it. And it just really made me think of, how interesting it is that, an iconic tune, because of how iconic it is and what it represents, can be attached to so many memories. And like I was saying before, it's not my favorite song from the Legend of Zelda series. In fact, it's far from it. But there's something very special about hearing that tune that just brings back, so many memories. And I think that's why the Song of Healing is just so beautifully crafted, is because of what it represents. When you think of healing, it's not going to be a fun process. And the fact that the Song of Healing is that sad and somber song is meant to represent that, is that the healing that you're providing in the game is not necessarily a fun experience. However, it's able to bring peace to the restless souls, or peace to the people who are suffering physical anguish in the game. And I think that's just a testament to the fact that, it's a very fantastic musical track that does an amazing job at making you have this reminder of your mission and what it has cost everybody. But anyway, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you so much for listening to me ramble about Majora's Mask and how much the Song of Healing just, has a strong grip on me personally and emotionally when I hear it. And I'm interested to know, is there any music in the Zelda series or any other game that kind of has a strong effect on you even to this day when you hear it, whether it be attached to just a core memory from your childhood or just amazing writing in the game that makes you emotional? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.